welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be working on how to do two-piece, but it's going to be short. Okay, so we are going to be working with this beautiful black sample material. We are working with scissors, our tape and chalk, and your machine. So with this we are good to go. I'm working with 2.5 yards of fabric, okay, for the short and the shirt. So but first we are going to cut out the shirt first. Our bust is 50. So remember that since it's a shirt, it's supposed to be free. So we're not going to do 50 on the dot. I'm going to fold 60 inches. So this is my first fold and I'm cutting for the front now. So I'm checking if it's up to 60. So I'm adding like 10-inch seam allowance for all of them. So you can see it's up to 60. This is 15. So the 15, when you multiply it by 4, you're going to get 60, okay? But I'm adding more because I want to cut it together with the band that we used to put button, okay? So this is my 60, and I'm going to use this small allowance here. If I join it, I'm going to use it for the, what's it called, for the button. So I like cutting it together. If I cut it together, I'll just use hemming gum, yes, and sew it together. And once I join it, you will have a thicker fold that you can put your button. Remember, I like keeping it simple so that anyone can try it. So I'm just going to measure her shirt length. Her shirt length, which is blouse length, which is 31. Okay. So I'm just measuring 31. Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure if my camera can get the 31, but just know that I measured 31, okay? So now that I've measured 31, please, if you have a ruler, I advise that you get your ruler handy so that you can be using the ruler. So now that I've measured 31, you can see that I've already put this button seam allowance. Our shoulder is 17. I want 17 divided by 2. I'm going to have 8.5. You can see. But because this thing is shirt, the shirt I'm making, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to be exactly that 8.5. The reason is that it's a free dress, so it has to be free. If it's free, let it be free, both at the shoulder part. So instead of adding my normal half an inch for the sewing, I'm adding 1 inch extra. Okay. So I'll take down from where the shoulder stopped. Remember, from where the shoulder stopped, I'm taking the armhole. Round sleeve. Our round sleeve is 20. So I'm going to do 20 divided by 2, which will give me 10. I'm going to add 1. So I'm making her round sleeve 11. Okay. I'll take it straight. Remember I said if you don't have a curve ruler, just do straight first, then you now curve. Okay. Remember I'm removing half an inch here because our shoulder is not equal. If you have ruler, please always use your ruler. Okay. So here I'm going to remove, because this is a shirt and it's supposed to be a high neck dress. The shirt is supposed to be in such a way that when you button it, it will cover for the whole neck, as in there won't be any space. So that's why I'm doing it 3 by 3 for an adult. The average shirt neck should be 3 by 3. Okay. So I'm just going to give this shirt a curve here because of our hip. That's why most time women dresses always goes with this curve, so you can sit properly at the hip side. Okay. So I can now cut. I folded for the back now. The actual way to do this, and actually I am supposed to start from the back, but since I've already started from the front, it's okay. So I'm going to fold now. I folded the back. So what I will do is to carry this and put here, removing the zip or the button seam allowance. I just remove the button seam allowance. Good to go. Okay, so I'm removing the button seam allowance. So next thing to do here, just at this shoulder part, is just to, because you know this is a shirt, the back should be high neck. So I'm just going to remove 1 inch here. Okay, remember I always add half here. Reason why I'm add is either you add, you cut equal and trim the front part, or you cut the front part the normal way and add at the back. It depends on you. Anyone that works faster and easier for you, it's okay. So for me, this is easiest way of cutting my shirt. So I'm cutting the shorts. So her length is 20. Okay, so I've added 2 inches seam allowance. Remember that part of what I did was to remove the band, what I used to do the band. So for this our customer, her hip is 20, her hip is 54. So we're just going to divide our 54 by 4, okay, to calculate the clutch. So this is 54, okay, we are dividing by 4. So now I have 13.5. So I'm just going to remove 1 inch from the 13.5. So I'm going to use 12.5 to calculate her clutch. So I'm doing 12.5 here. I've marked my 12.5. So I'll now use 2 inches. You can use 2.5 depending on the size. For her, I'm using 2.5 because she's a bit, she's on the bigger size. So I'll just take it from here. From where it stops, I'll just draw my straight line. Please, if you don't have a curved ruler and you are a beginner, always do this before you give any curve to avoid error. Okay, and see the way I curved it. So now I'm managing this fabric. Oh, that's why I'm just folding this way. I'll take her hip line, removing my 2 inch seam allowance. Hip line is 8, and you know where the clutch stops, that's where the tie starts. Okay, so the tie starts from here. So I'm just going to measure her waist, her hip, which is 13.5. Remember that was what we measured. And I'm just going to add my 1 inch seam allowance. At the waist side, her waist is 44, which is 11. Okay, I'll put my seam allowance also, and we're good to go. So her thigh 33. So remember, when you come to the thigh, you divide by 2. So if I divide the thigh by 2, I'm going to have 16.5. So I'll add my seam allowance too. And here I'm just going to give a little curve. So after adding, we are going to remove 1.5 inch here from this place and give it, slant it to meet the other side. This is to give way for the tummy, so that it will relax there. You will do this both for the skirt and the blouse. Okay, I was saying I just added half an inch at the thigh area because I'm going to add extra allowance when I'm doing the back. So the back, when you're making a trouser, the back is always bigger than the front. Okay, so now I'm going to do the back. Okay, so I'm just going to mark the back, and like I said, the back is always bigger because of the size of this person. I'm adding extra 3 inches here so you can cover this person. Now I'm adding extra 3 inches. Okay, so if I add 3 inches, remember that when you are sewing, you will not want, you are making trouser for your client, please always be mindful of this calculation I'm doing here now, so that you will not sew something that will expose. her body when she's sitting down, hence that's why we are adding this here. So normally I used to add 2.5, but because of the size of this my custom, I'm adding 3 here. Okay, you take it to go and meet this place. Okay, and this one also, this one we're taking it down, but I'm not going to leave it this way. If I leave it this way, after sewing, it's going to be entering the person's bum bum. So I'm just going to cut it somewhere this way, so it can just be stretched and free at that back area. Okay, so if you check well, you see that it stopped at 2 inches extra, while this one is 3. Sorry, I sometimes forget myself because I'm a freehand. After cutting now, see the outcome. Okay, so the next thing to cut now is to cut the band. But I'm going to use a plain material to do the band so that it will sit properly. Okay, I'm going to cut the sleeve now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because of the fabric, and as you can see, our fabric has pattern. It has a kind of line, so there's no way I can keep it straight this way. There's no way the line will, after going straight this way, I'll start crossing it. So if you are working with your fabric, always be mindful of the pattern on the clothes. So because of the pattern, I'm going to keep it straight. I'll cut it and join. The sleeve is going to have a slight joining at the center. Okay, remember that her round sleeve is 20. So this is, I just removed the allowance I'm going to use to join it. So this is 20. This is our seam allowance. Okay, I added 1.5 in case if there should be any, if I need any this thing. So as you can see, this is 20, because when you remember, when you are cutting the sleeve, you always divide by 2, because it's 2. We have 2 arms now, so we are dividing by 2. Because of the size of this person, we are doing the sleeve 5 by 5, because she's for a bigger size. So we are doing 5 by 5. Don't worry, if you're having problem with your sleeve, you can drop your comment in the comment section. We can do a video on that. Okay, so at this point, I just cut my sleeve. Okay, I'll join here. I'll do the same for this one also. Okay, so what is left for me to do now is to cut out the neck. That's the collar of this dress. But I usually don't cut the collar of a dress until I'm done sewing, so that I will measure it. So if you're having problem on how to make a collar, I've made something like a shirt. You can check our video on how to make a shirt, complete shirt video. So training on that, so that you will know how to cut your collar and put your collar. Okay, so do well to drop your comment in the comment section. Ask question if you have any question. Subscribe to our channel and like our content. Okay, see you in our next video.